When it comes to relationships, a genuine connection is everything. Only when we're with people who get us, like really get us, can we be our true selves. So, find a better connection with eHarmony, the dating app that helps you be more true to yourself. eHarmony gets to know you better so they can match you better with people who will really get you. Make a genuine connection. Take eHarmony's compatibility quiz today and get someone who gets you.
On today's Smart 7, the doctor won't see you now, Biden touches down in Belfast and lots more. It's Wednesday the 12th of April, it's World Hamster Day, and a big happy birthday Saoirse Ronan.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Thousands of routine appointments and operations were postponed as a 4-day junior doctor strike kicked off in England on Tuesday. With priority given to emergency and urgent care, it's been described as potentially the most disruptive walkout in the history of the NHS. The British Medical Association's calling for a 35% pay rise, and this junior doctor on the picket line says it's big cuts that have led them to this point.
We've lost a quarter of our pay in the last 15 years. That's like junior doctors working for 3 months of the year for free. We have no choice but to stand for our patients and stop the exodus by restoring our pay.
The government so far rejected the union's demands. Dr Emma Runswick is from the BMA.
We have been asking Steve Barclay to put forward a credible offer for months and months and months, and he has declined to do so. What we want is pay restoration so that we can reverse our workforce crisis and get back to giving patients the care that they really deserve.
New polling by Ipsos shows over half of Brits support junior doctors taking strike action. Health Secretary Steve Barclay says his door's open for meaningful negotiations, but argued the latest action was just putting patients at greater risk.
Well, I deeply regret these strikes, and in particular the timing, the fact that the BMA junior doctors have asked their members not to tell NHS managers whether they intended to go on strike or not, and also their refusal to agree any national exemptions.
The Kremlin's insisted a Wall Street Journal reporter charged with espionage had violated Russian law ahead of his arrest. But the White House now says Evan Gershkovich has been wrongfully detained and the case against him is merely political. Vedant Patel is a spokesperson for the State Department and told reporters Moscow hasn't yet allowed US officials to meet with him.
At this point, it is a violation of Russia's obligations under our consular convention and a violation against international law. We have stressed the need for the Russian government to provide this access as soon as possible.
It comes as leaked documents from the US Defense Department expose the extent of eavesdropping on key allies, including South Korea, Israel and Ukraine. The Pentagon says the leaks are a very serious risk to national security. In Ukraine, preparations are underway for a spring offensive against invading Russian troops, which has led to new conscription rules in Moscow. Traditionally, Russian conscription papers had been delivered in person, but they'll now be sent via recorded mail and online, making it harder for citizens to avoid. Andrei Kartopolov, chairman of the Russian Parliament's Defence Committee, says you've no option if you're called up.
If people do not receive or pretend not to receive the summons, they will be obligated to report to the military enlistment office. If they fail to do so, they will receive a notice, which contains a ban on leaving the country and a warning of further restrictive measures.
US President Joe Biden's touchdown in Belfast with PM Rishi Sunak there to greet him on the runway. The trip marks the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Good Friday Agreement. But just hours earlier, 4 suspected pipe bombs were found in a cemetery in Northern Ireland with a site in Cregan and Derry sealed off. Biden will also travel to the Republic of Ireland as part of the 4-day trip. And before boarding Air Force One on Tuesday, he told reporters what he was hoping to get out of it.
Make sure the Irish Accords and the Windsor Agreement stay in place. Keep the peace. That's the main thing. And it looks like we're going to keep your fingers crossed.
He's expected to meet leaders of Northern Ireland's main political parties later. Lewis Lucan, a former deputy US ambassador in London, told Sky News what he thinks will happen behind closed doors.
First of all, the Windsor Framework was a precondition of the president coming. If there hadn't been an agreement, he wouldn't be coming. And I think he will be very tough with them in private. I think certainly his team will not want him to be too public in criticism of the DUP, because I think that would be counterproductive. But certainly in private, I think he'll be very tough with them.
In a world first, vape starter kits are going to be offered to 1 million smokers in England as part of efforts to get people to ditch cigarettes. The government wants to lower smoking rates to under 5% by 2030 and has also announced plans to crack down on the illegal sale of e-cigarettes to under 18s. Around 1 in 5 smokers in England will be offered the alternative, while pregnant women could receive up to £400 to quit. But Dr. Mona Manzouri says vapes aren't completely risk-free and shouldn't be used as a long-term replacement.
I do feel concerned slightly about this news because I think that you're potentially stepping down to something you may never be able to come off at all because it's still an addictive activity.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Man City batter Bayern and Hawkeye returns from his snowplough hell. Right after this.
When it comes to relationships, a genuine connection is everything. Only when we're with people who get us, like really get us, can we be our true selves. So, find a better connection with eHarmony, the dating app that helps you be more true to yourself. eHarmony gets to know you better so they can match you better with people who will really get you. Make a genuine connection. Take eHarmony's compatibility quiz today and get someone who gets you.
Welcome back. Tuesday night saw the first leg of the Champions League quarter-finals. Benfica hosted Inter Milan but lost 2-0, leaving themselves work to do in the second leg, while 6-time winners Bayern Munich were guests at Man City. Thomas Tuchel, Bayern's new manager, certainly didn't enjoy the game as City were ruthless and finished 3-0 winners on the night. It puts Pep Guardiola's side in a great position for the second leg in Germany next week, but he's staying cautious.
Yeah, happy for the result, but I lived 3 years in Munich. I know what does it mean Italians. I know Bayern Munich, the mentality. I know the quality they have. So many, strong game to do.
Jimmy Kimmel says he must be indestructible as Jeremy Renner and his cane popped up for a celebratory late-night appearance. The Avengers Hawkeye broke 30 bones in a snowplough accident on New Year's Day. He got a warm reception, including a message from co-star Paul Rudd, who said maybe next time just let the snow melt. Typically modest, Jeremy, the greatest Avenger, was looking at the silver lining.
I think the first thing that my first surgeries and from all the ribs and stuff, I woke up, first thing I ever thought about, my first conscious thought was like, holy hell, my calendar's freed up for the rest of the year. I'm like, yeah!
4 years after her original film just dropped, the first trailer for The Marvels has been released, with Brie Larson reprising her role as Captain Marvel. We see her teaming up with characters Kamala Khan, aka superhero enthusiast Ms. Marvel, and Captain Monica Rambeau to, yep, you guessed it, save the planet. Fans have got to wait until November for it to hit the cinemas, though.
Hi. We're looking for Kamala Khan.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy. And I could totally show you.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.